play in the second half of the season, they have not won for the most part in those seasons, except for the '08 season. They won 4 games. In the second half of those seasons, the Saints generally have won only 3 games. They've gone 3-5 the second half of the season because they fought so hard to get to 500. And either it blows the wind out of them, they're tired or what have you, and then they wind up collapsing starting with game number 9. And it usually be game 9 and 10, and they lose those games, and by the time they try to recover, in the fourth quarter of the season, they'll go 3-1 and finish 7-9. The Saints have not been playing well in the third quarter of their season. They were great from 9 until 11, those 3 years. Then 12, and even they collapsed a little bit in 13. They went 5-3, but they really collapsed and blew that lead they had in the division. They have not been playing well in the third quarter of the season. It is time for them to break that string of playing horrible football in the month of November and early December. So they've got to break this string, and the best way they can break this string and this jinx is to beat Denver on Sunday and go to Carolina with a not-so-great Carolina Panthers team and beat Carolina. So these are 2 games. This really is just their season in some ways. If they can win these 2 games, or even if they split it, they're still in the hunt. Because after that, Arizona, Detroit, Tampa Bay twice, and Atlanta. The toughest game is going to be playing Atlanta in Atlanta. So the Saints can get a string of, they really can win these games. They can run the cards. But they've got to, against Denver, taking on Denver first, they've got to, number 1, do what they did last week, no turnovers. Number 2, execute in the red zone. Number 3, run the football. And number 4, on defense, do not give up the big plays. Denver's offense is not potent. C.J. Anderson is out. This guy at quarterback is struggling. I watched the Oakland Denver game, and he was 0 for 5 or 0 for 8. He could not complete a pass. They had 4 or 5 straight 3-and-outs in that game against the Raiders. I mean, and the Raiders' defense is not that great. They have Khalil Mack, but you saw how we shredded the Raiders' defense. So I think that the Saints' defense, like you said, you do have to keep an eye on Sanders and Thomas because they are great receivers. So you have to keep your eyes on those guys. But this is a game that, with Derek Wolfe being out and Takeed being out, you now need to focus on Von Miller. If you could, because even DeMarcus Ware he's aging. It's Von Miller that is lightning quick. So, those are my key points for the Saints. And, of course, Will Lutz has to make his field goal. And the Saints cannot do like they did Seattle. They must convert 75% of their drives in the red zone as touchdowns. Okay? And I look for, in this game, Drew Brees to have success with the short passing game. I do not believe, after seeing what the Saints did to Seattle, as well as Carolina, I do not believe there's a team that can stop the Saints' tandem. And Brandon Coleman is beginning to step up. So that's another threat. You're starting to see improvements from Brandon Coleman. So that's an additional plus. And Kobe Sr. and Josh Hill combined, they played solid. So when you have all 6 of these weapons, there is just not a defense that can handle these 6 plus the 2 running backs.
Yeah, you're right.
This offense only self-destructs or stops itself if it self-destructs on its own. And we cannot have a bunch of turnovers. They have to continue to play solid. No forced passes by Drew and all of that great stuff. Drew Brees has 21 touchdowns and only 5 INTs. And so we need him to continue to play smart, and the Saints take what they give them. If the big play is not there, don't force it. Take what you get, and I think the Saints can solidly, handily handle this team. After what I've seen in 2 of the 3 games that the Broncos have played, They might want to look at the film of what the Falcons did that successfully allowed the Falcons to beat the Broncos also.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the keys to this game, KT?
Man, you were pretty thorough. This kid, Capri Bibbs, who has been getting a chance to show himself in the Broncos offense at running back, he's expected to have a big role and a big impact in this game for the Broncos. He took one pass, 69 yards to the house against the Raiders. What usually happens with a Gary Kubiak offense against the Saints, they use misdirection and they use the fact that the team usually over pursues a lot. And that's kind of similar to how the 49ers were being so successful because the linebacking core was over pursuing. On two of those running catches for long yardage, first the running back and then the tight end, Nate Stupor was caught up and he never was able to recognize what was happening with the misdirection. Matter of fact, Pro Football Focus rated Stupor the lowest rated linebacker, one of the lowest rated linebackers in the league, because he's allowed so many passes for over 127 total yards and touchdowns, but he misses tackles. And that's something I wasn't aware of. But when I watched the play, Professor, man, it was quite evident on both of those plays. It was Stupor's responsibility to cover the person coming out of the backfield or coming across the coverage, and it allowed 2 touchdowns from the Broncos. From the 49ers. So the Broncos, if they're smart, and Kubiak usually does this, and I've seen him for so long while in Houston do the same thing. He throws those same type of passes. He has a young quarterback, so that young quarterback, he's not going to really have him to throw the football down the field if he's struggling as much. He did it with Shaw. Just a ball control type of offense. If they're going to take a shot every now and then, they do it either from the 20 or when they get closer to the 40 or the 50-yard line. That's when he usually takes big shots. But I'm telling you, if they cannot run the football, look for that tight end responsibility to be critical for our defense, especially the linebackers, to hold them steady and to try to take some possessions away from those guys.
Yeah, that's going to be important that they fix it, and that's why I think that they're going to have to get Stefan Anske back into the lineup once he's healthy. They're going to have to get him back in the lineup because right now, with that, those mistakes by Stupar and Ellaby not being always healthy, and Marty, now hurt, as well as Laronitis gone for years. It's going to be important. Do you know how long Stefan Anthony is going to be out?
Hopefully he can be able to recover for the game coming up on Thursday night, man. They said he was on the mend. I thought he would be ready, but it looks like it was a pretty significant injury.
Yeah, I hope Stefan Anthony can get healthy and come back, because we're going to need our linebackers. Who else? What other linebackers? Who did they pick up off the? I can't think of the guy.
Chamberlain. His name is Chamberlain.
So he's a linebacker?
Well, they picked him up from he last played for the Green Bay Packers, but in my opinion, I think what's really going to be key for him is to play on special teams.
Yeah, is Curtis Lofton still playing for the Raiders?
No, he's out of the league.
Yeah, I would give Curtis Lofton a call, and I would give him a call for a minimum salary. I would. and then I would have Curtis Lawson be a quarterback at middle linebacker, and then I would move Robinson out, and then and because you're gonna need some depth. Because now you're sitting here, you only have three linebackers. You only have three linebackers. With Marty out, Laurinaitis gone, and you have Stupor, Robinson, and you don't know what you got ever. You really only have two.
Mm-hmm.
Kid, and that's not good. And teams will pick up on that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. What was once the strength of this team has been riddled with injuries.
But that's why the Saints, from time to time, have been playing the three safeties as well to take one of those linebacking spots. So they could put Roman Harper up there. Sure can. Yeah. So if anything does happen to Vaccaro, Roman Harper will be the next man up to kind of fill into that three safety rotation.
Yeah, the injury, that's the thing that concerns you with the Saints. If they're going to ask with anything, can you survive the injuries? Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that and be watching that. I think in terms of the game, in terms of the Denver offense, but I'm not afraid of anything with Denver's offense after seeing these last couple of games with Denver. They're struggling to score points. I forget who they beat in Denver. They seem to play better at home than they do on the road. And the main thing on offense, the Saints have to watch out for Vaughn Miller. I think more so than DeMarcus as well, because DeMarcus is like 34. He's still solid, but Vaughn Miller is just a beast. So you have to contain him. I don't pick scores. I told you I've been 0 for 40 shooting things. I'm going to say my normal statement. I pray and hope they win. Kyle, do you have a score since you picked them to beat to win last week?
Yeah, my prediction.
You're 2-0. So do you have a score?
No. Earlier this year, I predicted them to win Carolina as well as I forgot the other game, but I'm really tuned too. But I really believe the Saints can win this game big.
You picked them to Kansas City?
Yes, I did.
So you're 4-1 like they're on their last 5 games. So you got the hot hand. Give us a score.
Okay. All right. So 41-23 is my prediction.
And what did you say last week? Because I remember joking about you picked them. You said 40-something last week, didn't you?
No, I didn't say 40-something last week. I said, was it 27 to? No, it was 34-17. That was my prediction.
Oh, now you said 40-something on Wednesday night, and I said, really?
41. That's I'm sticking with it.
On the Super Bowl champs are going to put up 41 points on this team.
Yes.
Okay, y'all heard it right there. Just remember, Saints fans, Denver has not played in the Superdome, I don't think, since 2004 or 5.
And we have not beaten Denver since 1994.
The Saints are old and whatever. I don't even know the last time they beat Denver. I mean, last time
1994 is the last time we beat Denver.
Was Reuben May. I don't even remember the 94. I remember, Torrance Small, Denise got out classmates because we had a great game out there in Denver. I do remember that game. I only remember really the Saints beating Denver with the Dome Patrol, and they blew them out like 41-0 or something like that. So it is probably due for the Saints to beat Denver. It is probably time for the Saints to beat Denver. Now, what many of y'all don't realize, this is a scheduling glitch with the NFL scheduling. In 2008, the Saints went out there to Denver. They had the game won, but they had all them field goal kicking problems, which is a chronic problem with Coach Payton. And the guy missed the winning field goal or a field goal to put the Saints in the lead, and Denver won out there. Now, in 2012, when the Saints played them on that Monday night game, that game was not supposed to be played in Denver. You're supposed to rotate every 4 years. We played in Denver. That's where the glitch occurred. 2012, many people didn't catch it. I did. They were